My name is Jack Gross, president and co-founder of Second Half Network LLC, and we are fired up to officially launch our new podcast and video series. This is more than highlights and box scores. We're diving into real lives of athletes, the grind behind the scenes, the pressure, the sacrifices, the victories nobody sees. Most importantly, the transition every athlete eventually faces when the game slows down and the next chapter begins. From NIL and branding to business, careers, and life after sports, we're giving athletes a platform to tell their story. Every episode brings authentic conversations with current and former athletes, creators, coaches, and industry leaders who are building what comes after the final whistle. This is where sports, business, media, and opportunity all collide. Welcome to the next era of athlete storytelling. Welcome to Bullpen Talk.
Welcome back to the fifth episode of the Bullpen Talk. Today we have Tulane starting safety and all-conference safety, Jack Tchienchou. We're glad to have you on today, Jack. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Happy to be here. Appreciate y'all having me.
Of course. So we want to start off talking about kind of how this whole journey started for you. When did football become more than just a game for you, and who shaped it most for you as a young player?
Growing up, my brother played football, so, looking up to him, it's kind of just made sense for me to play ball. But, as I kept going, got to about high school, and then, offers started rolling in, and then I had to make a decision between baseball and football. And then I think once I quit baseball is really once I started, taking football serious because, I've seen the platform, like football, you can take it all the way and, change your life with it. So that's probably when I started taking it serious.
Yeah. Now back to those storm days.
Yeah, sure. That's definitely where I peaked when it comes to baseball.
Yeah. No, but also, so you started your career at Troy. What was the recruiting process like coming out of high school, and what made you go to Troy?
Recruiting is hectic. I took a lot of it for granted. It was kind of just cool, to feel wanted, all these schools coming by, talking to you, taking you out of class. Twitter was the main way of recruiting. So it's like you're checking Twitter every 2 seconds to see if a new coach followed you, hit you up something. But that whole process, I think I was kind of looking at it the wrong way. I was kind of chasing like a bigger school. I had pretty much all ACC. Towards the end of the process, I was talking to a couple of SEC schools, but they never threw an offer. But throughout that entire time, Summerall and that Troy staff, they stayed persistent. And at the time, not many people were talking about Troy, but that season they went on to win the championship. And I committed that season, but it was purely to the staff. There was no history of Troy being a dominant school but that staff, I had a vision, they had a vision for me. And, I kind of just had to go with my gut when it came to, making that decision.
Nice. So you had one season at Troy, and then you made the decision to move to Tulane. Obviously, that's a much different, competition level. In Summerall, I'm guessing Summerall was a primary reason for you to go to Tulane. What was that process like? Were you like, man, I like Troy a lot, this is hard to switch, or was it easy?
Troy and Tulane are two different sides of town. You go to Troy and, our strip is, a McDonald's, Wendy's, and, a couple other fast food spots. But, the people at Troy was really what made Troy special. It was, the community was real big. They really bought into the program. They loved Summerall. They loved the team. And, just being around those guys, it was a lot more about, who you were with rather than where you were at. But, when Summerall, dropped the news that he was coming to Tulane, pretty much everyone was in the same boat, not really sure what to do. I'm in the room with my roommates trying to figure things out. We're all redshirt freshmen. We didn't see the field our freshman year, so we're kind of thinking dang, we're stuck. But no, Coach Gass and Coach Summy, they let me know that they wanted me to come with them, and knowing that I was a redshirt freshman, I didn't play much at first. It was kind of you guys didn't play me my first year, like why would I follow you guys? But then I thought about it, and there's a lot more to it. Like they saw my potential and they saw what I was capable of, even though they didn't let me showcase that my first year. But I got to Tulane and I put my head down, and they
Yeah.
were right.
Did you have a bunch of guys that came with you from Troy that made that transition easier for you?
There was four of us that came.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it was me, Chris Rogers, Caleb Ransaw, Deshaun Baptiste, and then that spring, our offensive tackle from Troy came in, Derek Graham. But I mean, yeah, 100%. Those guys kind of helped, lead the way because we all knew how Summerall ran things and how Rusty ran things. So we're kind of like the guys people would look to like understand how the coaches were going. We're like a nice bridge between the two.
Yeah. No, I remember Summerall coming from Troy to Tulane. I was like, dang, Jack may come here. I was like, never thought it was crazy. Kind of
It's
just thinking
crazy.
about.
Everything
Yeah.
happens so fast, and it's like just how football is now. At least college football, it's like things can change in a couple of months.
Yeah. How was that whole experience in the transfer portal?
Um,
Because
I mean, there's the love hate with the transfer portal. Like, you know, coming out of Troy, I didn't play much, so the attention wasn't really there. I mean, Georgia State, they wanted me, but a couple of other schools around the house wanted me, but I kind of had my mind made up.
yeah,
So after you transferred to Tulane, I kind of want to hear about what that first season was like for you. Like, did you think you were going to start right away? And also, I remember Summerall was saying like most of the roster was gone, like he had to rebuild and restart. What was that process like with a whole new team and a whole new organization, like just staff?
Um, it's weird because you come in and everyone that's been on the team, they've got their glue, their gel, and everyone's kind of wondering like, oh, how's this coach like? But I already knew how Summerall was like. So then there's kind of like that weird relationship between me and the players where it's like, more than I do. What should I be looking out for? And at the same time, it's like I'm also trying to earn a spot. So trying to get everyone on board with what Summy had going on and what Rusty had going on, but at the same time trying to keep my head down and earn everything. I mean, going in, I knew I wasn't going to be the starter. I mean, I didn't play my freshman year, so everything that I got had to be earned. So, when I got to Tulane, I was fourth on the depth chart. So, I mean, it was
yeah,
just straight to work once I got there.
yeah.
I
So
mean,
you were sorry, were you saying something
yeah, I
else?
was gonna like say, I mean, you talked about Tulane and transferring over there and people leaving. I mean, how was that game when you guys played Duke? Like the atmosphere, I mean, the intensity when obviously one of your former players showed up on the field and it was kind of a big deal.
I mean, 100%. The whole week, the whole point was like the game isn't, Tulane versus Darien. It's Tulane versus Duke. But then, you get out on the field and, the fans are making it the Darien Mensa versus Tulane game. So, it gets to a point where it's you kind of just gotta accept it and realize, what's gotta be done, gotta get done. But the whole year, the whole year was one of those things, guys are thinking about leaving but it's like one of those things you got to keep your head on straight. There's an ultimate goal that you're trying to reach. And, with team success comes individual success. So, uh, I mean, the more we were winning, the easier it made,
Yeah.
the more options people would get once the season came to an end.
Yeah, I mean, the whole new era of college football with everyone entering the transfer portal, a lot of people leaving. Have you kind of gotten used to that whole narrative or kind of not expecting everyone to stay or kind of seeing your former teammates on other teams, stuff like that?
I mean, yeah, with the new era, it's kind of hard to build the same type programs that, we're used to in the past, where it's like, you commit to a school and, you bleed those colors for the next 4 or 5 years. But now it's sort of like everyone's trying to bounce from best opportunity to best opportunity. And, it's hard because you go in every season, it's like, all right, we got like 50 new guys, and then we got to get them all bought in on the same program, on the same, accord. But, aside from that, we're still playing football. The game's still the same. So, it's just making sure we're bringing in, good people rather than just good players.
Yeah.
Talking about this whole new era of the transfer portal and everything, I want to talk about your experience during last season when you find out Coach Summerall is, maybe going to go somewhere else. But the whole idea, I remember him saying, was we're a player-led team. How was that mentality able to like get y'all to the playoffs and win the American Conference Championship?
I mean, yeah, that like towards that end of the season, it was, kind of awkward time. Uh Summerall says he's taking another job. So all the other coaches on the staff are also, they're also worried about their job security. And so, there's just a whole lot of things going on, and we got a big game to play. But, we had a team meeting and we made it known like this isn't Summerall's team. This isn't like this is our team. We're only gonna go as far as we take us. So
Yeah.
I think it was that point where we kind of just like made the decision to kind of be selfish and play for ourselves in terms of like the players. But at the end of the day, we all celebrated a team success, a program success. But it's just how it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were named player of the game of the American Conference Championship. If you could kind of just like walk us through that moment and what winning that championship meant to you, especially with everything going on during that moment.
I mean, it was it was a surreal moment. You're going through the game and you're not thinking about things like that, but you know, I had forced the fumble, and then later on that game, I recovered that the punt,
Yeah.
and then I'm just on the sideline, just like I'm one of the goofier guys on the team, I would say, but like I know when to lock it in. But I'm talking to one of my friends on the sideline, and I'm like, if I get a pick, like it's over with. Like I get a pick, it's over with. And then I ended up getting the pick, and like truthfully, it never crossed my mind like, oh yeah, like MVP. But we game clock hits 0, people start storming the field, and I'm kind of just standing there taking it all in, and uh I get a tap on my shoulder, and they're like, we gotta go, we gotta go. I was like, where we're going? Like, where are we going? He's like, we got to get to the podium. You're MVP. And kind of all just hit me right there while people are just flooding the field. And, I'm trying to make my way to the podium. But, it was just a crazy experience.
Yeah.
That American Conference Championship game was huge. Winning that and then earning a spot in the playoff. I want to hear about the experience about that. Like, what was it like making the playoff? That whole experience. The stuff they gave you. Like, I'm sure it was a cool experience. Disregarding the result, so I want to hear about your experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's elite territory. Not you're playing and there's like what 16 others, like it's elite territory, so it's a great feeling to know like everyone's tuned into your game this weekend. But it's what we had been working for the entire year. We weren't expecting anything less. uh I mean, obviously it didn't go the way we wanted it to, but the experience, the coverage, the gear we got. I mean, it's all one of one. Like you can never replace that experience.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I was gonna say, like, walking into that atmosphere in Oxford. I mean, I went to both games. I mean, it was an unreal experience. Like, how do you lock in for that moment compared to like others? Like, obviously the American Championship was at Yulman, and I mean at Tulane, and then essentially you go from that to like a really big stadium where, like you were saying, like huge coverage, all the media. how do you put that aside and saying, I got to ultimately lock in here and focus on the ultimate goal of winning that game and getting to the next round?
I mean, as a kid, that's what you dream of, to play in those big games. So I mean, of course, you have those butterflies when it's like, all right, this is the biggest stage I've ever played on in my entire life. But then at the end of the day, you do realize like I'm playing football. So it's like this is a game I've also just been playing my entire life. So it's a balance between the two. But at the end of the day, you just have to, have confidence in your ability and make the most of the opportunity.
Yeah, and I mean, playing at Ole Miss, like SEC Stadium's so much different than I feel like anything else. Like all three of us were there. We were at the game. We're walking downtown Oxford with our Tulane stuff on, just getting yelled at the entire weekend.
Yeah.
Stuff I've never heard before said to my face. It's like kind of like how is that kind of like blocking out the noise and kind of that experience in such a different type of stadium and environment.
Yeah, no, that's funny. I've never been yelled at by that many people in polo shirts and khaki shorts in my life. But at the same time, it's kind of like that feeling where, you walk into a place and it's like you're most hated. It's like
Yeah,
you're doing something right if people are hating on you. So it's a good feeling to know like you're doing something good enough to where people, are hating. But
yeah,
no, at the same time, I also have friends that go to Ole Miss. So, like, for every person yelling like "number one, you suck," there's also a person yelling like, "Hey, number one, we went to high school together." So, it was a fun environment.
yeah.
So
That place was crazy.
yeah, after that game, obviously you started to see a lot of players enter the portal as it is now in this era. And then later on, you made the decision to come back to Tulane. And that kind of led the movement of other players wanting to come back. What went into that decision? What were all the things you kind of went through to make that decision?
Um, I mean, Tulane has been a great place for me. Uh, I mean, these past couple years, but you know, the grass isn't always greener, and I've used the portal before, and it was under different circumstances. But this time around, I felt that I like where my feet are at, and I think I can really leave a mark here at Tulane, and that's ultimately what I want to do. I'd rather be known in one spot for something great than to be known in a bunch of spots for just being there. So.
Yeah.
Love that.
I mean, this is the best the Tulane football program's been forever. I mean, for us as just regular students too. I mean, it's awesome.
I mean,
Like
it's great to be a part of.
we
It's
love
just,
it. Yeah. I mean, we're up. We go to every game. We watch every game. Like just us being good and just seeing how many people stayed too this season was pretty awesome. Just to see.
Yeah, and it kind of go off like you were talking about the group of five being like really good talent. I mean, you're seeing Memphis putting a lot of money into their program. You're seeing USF as well. So, like, what's going in it like for this season for you guys is like there a different expectation, knowing that the conference is like getting better. I mean, obviously we are as well, but like you want to talk about like when you first got to the American compared to where it's now, because like you're seeing these schools get really good players, Tulane included, and like where do you see the future of the American being compared to like the Sun Belt and conferences that are in that group of five group.
uh, I mean, when it comes to Power Four and Group of Five, I mean, I think there's good players all around the country, but I mean, what makes a team special is the program behind it, and you're seeing SEC schools come take the Group of Five programs, so it's starting to level out, I think, a little bit. We're seeing that the talent is not that far off. I mean, Power Four schools going to pick up Group of Five guys every portal opening. So uh, I think we're getting to a point where it's starting to level out a little bit more, and these Group of Five schools are competing with these Power Four schools like seriously.
Yeah, I mean, there's no coincidence. All these teams are trying to poach players from Group of Five and even coaches. I mean, it's every single year. It seems like that they're going to Power Four teams. It's like they're obviously good. They're obviously doing something right. Like the playing field, I'd say is yeah, very level too. Kind of just with everything shifting so fast in college sports, is there anything you wish players had more of, whether it's support, resources, guidance, or just a bigger voice in decisions that affect them?
Um, I mean, I think at the group of five level, the the only real difference I would say is like the amount of money being spent. Like these Power Four schools are spending millions
Yeah,
and group of five schools just can't really compete. But at the same time, I think they also have, a larger number of, you know, people within each group. Like their NIL groups are like they consist of 10 to 15, where ours is more of like 3 to 4. But
yeah.
if it just comes down to the size of the school and how much money they have to spend on things like that. So it's nothing really in our control.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool that like you're saying, all these Power Four schools have, infinite resources, and then a team like LSU can't even make the playoffs, and Tulane did. So clearly, I think the way that Tulane's been run is they do it efficiently. They use their resources in the best possible way. Talking about that, what can y'all do this year to kind of bring? How can you get back to the playoffs this year? What do you have to do?
Um, I mean, we have to do exactly what we did last year better. Like that's the whole thing. Like we can't even make it close. Like that Memphis game, that second half, we'd redo what we did that first half. Like those games that where we started to let off the gas, we gotta pedal to the metal. Like we gotta really, show the AAC that, we deal the cards and kind of take everything in front of us.
Would you say you're coming into the season with a little bit of a chip on your shoulder after last year as a whole
100%.
team? Yeah.
100%. I mean, going into that championship game, I mean, it was hard to even hear anything good about Tulane. Like
Yeah.
everyone was all on North Texas, the number one offense in the country, quarterback this, running back that. But it was disrespectful from the jump. So uh,
Yeah.
there's definitely a chip on our shoulder going into this year.
What's funny is I saw in a recent report for the American Conference, they had Tulane finishing third to last. So
Yeah.
that's just insane to me because year in and year out, we pretty much dominate the conference. But
I mean, every year these rankings come out and they got Memphis and yeah, those other schools up above us. Yeah, nah.
yeah,
Only
We'll just put
motivation.
the ball down, play ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like through your journey, like from Troy to Tulane and to where you're at now, like did you ever have a mentor that you relied on to like, push you through the hard times, put you in the right spots, like make that transfer from, like I think you can, do more at Tulane than you did at Troy and things like that. Do you have like a special individual or someone that pushed you forward to get to like, obviously get you like where you are today?
Um, I wouldn't necessarily say a mentor, but I definitely do like discuss, things like that with my brother. And we bounce ideas off of each other. I let him know my take on things and it's just a little bit of reassurance before making, big decisions. But yeah, I mean, I'd probably just say my brother if anyone.
Yeah.
So we're trying to build something pretty much for, player advocacy in college. And I want to hear from your perspective when it's all said and done after football, when your career ends someday, how do you want to be remembered as a player and a person? Yeah.
Um, as a player, I don't want to be known as someone that, brought it every day, kept the energy up, played with a chip on his shoulder, uh, relentless effort. And then as a person, uh, a humble, a guy that, you cross paths with him, your day gets better. Um, someone easy to talk to, um, a hard worker. Uh, yeah, just a family man, a good friend and a leader.
Yeah. I also feel like so much of an athlete's identity kind of gets wrapped up in their sport. Kind of who are you outside of football, and how do you think about that balance between football and the rest of your other life?
Um, I'd say outside of football, I'm a people person. Uh, I enjoy the company of my friends and you know, I'm I'm pretty outgoing. I speak up. Uh, I just like to talk to people. In my free time, I'm probably stretching or sleeping, one of the two. But yeah, no, I'm just easy going.
Yeah.
Do you have like a moment in your career when you're like, this is what the 5 a.m. lifts were for, like this is what showing up on time, like being a leader and things like that, to get you into those big games? You have like one specific, time where you're like, this is why I wanted to play football. This is why I ultimately chose football over baseball, and things like that.
Um, yeah, I'd probably I'd probably have to say that championship game. That championship game was a special one.
Yeah. Was there kind of a moment before college you're kind of like, damn, like I may be able to do this for the rest of my life. Like this is something I could do.
I mean, every college football player, was the best player on their high school team or, all state in their state.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all throughout high school, I'd kind of been building a resume that kind of like, spoke for itself. But leaving high school and then kind of just looking back on what I had done, I mean, it made sense to me to continue and to try to take it all the way.
Yeah. I mean, I remember back at Sandy Springs football at I think maybe third grade. I like specifically remember this one play. So you're running down the sideline playing linebacker. Feel like I have an angle on you. It's like, dang, like I got him. Perfect angle. Like no chance he's scoring right now. Get to the sideline right by me. Like not even close. It's like, dang. Maybe I'm not fast.
It's it's been great. All those points in my life have been like stepping stones and reassurance for me to, really try with this. And
Yeah.
I don't take any of those moments for granted. They're all, they all play a big part in the player and the person I am today.
Yeah.
Well, Jack, I think you answered all the questions we have for you today, and we really appreciate you taking time out of your day. We know you're busy. You're in the off season, getting ready for a big year for Tulane, and let's bring one home this year.
Let's do it. I appreciate you guys
Sure.
Thanks for coming on.
for sure.
Thank you, Jack.
Always.